Automotive News analyzed financial reports and found that tariffs cost automakers around $35.4 billion since March 2025. Auto analyst and owner of Creator of the Car Coach, Lauren Fix, is joining us here now to talk about the auto industry. Lauren, thank you for spending some time with us.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the automotive world, and it's not going to change too quickly.
And let's talk about this $35.4 billion lost from tariffs. Are we seeing prices on vehicles increase so companies can try and recoup those losses?
Well, I think part of the losses that you're seeing overall are from electric cars. And that's one of the things that all these car brands jumped in on it. The government was pushing for a mandate, and that mandate is gone. So what you're seeing now is the offset of the tariffs on top of their losses. So the losses are a little bit larger, but tariffs in general were because a lot of car manufacturers shipped the components or the production thereof overseas instead of keeping the jobs here. So the jobs will come back to areas like Youngstown and across the U.S. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. But in the meantime, car manufacturers, when you think about like a cost of a component, let's just say it's a door handle, for example. The door handle itself may be made elsewhere and eventually it will come here. That increase in cost is based off the cost, not off the retail price. So you will see prices of cars go up temporarily, but I think you're going to see prices come down over a period of time as manufacturers start realizing producing it here in the U.S. is going to save customers money and save them money. But also you need to be really aware how they're making up some of the difference in money is through what we call destination delivery. So you negotiate in the price of a car, but at the bottom of the window sticker, there's a price that says destination and delivery. You'll see some brands have added almost $1,000 to that, which doesn't make sense if the car is assembled here in North America. And that is where they're sort of picking up the difference in their losses and trying to recoup.
And a lot of moving parts here. The Supreme Court ruling removed some tariffs the president placed when he entered office, but auto tariffs remain in place. Any thoughts as to why?
It's under a different section. So there are different sections that the tariffs were put in place. Automotive is not being impacted, nor is steel. Steel will be produced here in the U.S. as U.S. Steel has opened a plant in Pittsburgh and a couple of them across the country. You're going to see more steel being produced here. That will also lower the price of the vehicles. Again, nothing happens overnight in the auto industry. What you're talking about right now is we're already test driving 2027 models, and we're seeing 2028 models. And that's when you won't see a break in price until probably 2028, because it takes so long for the car manufacturers to make that change. Everything that's 2026, even if they move the production of a component here to the U.S., you probably won't see a change in the window sticker until next year.
And something else to note, in January, Kelley Blue Book released data that shows the average new car buyer paid just over $49,000, and every automaker has ended production of cars priced under $20,000. Could cars become a luxury item?
Well, I think what happened is we've seen a lot of different brands. I just did an interview with a gentleman from Honda, and he said they were realizing that customers can't afford a $50,000 car. You got interest rates and the cost of everything being high. Even though we're trying to bring it down, what we're seeing is that they're now realizing that those cars that had minimal items on them, like you buy a Honda Accord, for example, and it would have power windows, but maybe you don't need that fancy center screen or that fancy additional seat material. They're now realizing that customers want cars that are utilities for them, get them from A to B. And if you want a fun car and you can afford it, that's a completely different customer. So in order to bring more customers back into the marketplace, manufacturers are starting to be aware of producing cars at $20,000 and potentially less. And we're starting to see a lot of brands working toward that. We lost a lot of cars in the industry as Ford and General Motors said we're not going to produce sedans anymore other than the Mustang and the Corvette. Well, now you're going to start seeing more of that coming into play as we're now realizing from Stellantis, they say customers are asking for cars and they're going to start designing and building them here.
Lauren, really good insight there. Thank you for taking some time to spend with us.
Thank you.